Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. How to string a recurve bow properly. Many of you have seen a lot of these videos and you've seen people step on the limb with the side of their shoe. They've put the tip into the ground. I mean, those are all the wrong ways. Anyways, even though I'm no expert on archery, the one thing I seem to have automatically known over the years was one way, at least, that you could properly string a recurve. However, that negates itself once you go above 25-pound limbs because it's probably not your best solution to do, okay? So let me give you the example because this is a 40-pound set of limbs on this bow. I do have a 20-pound set, and with the 20s, I do not use my stringer, okay? There's just like no point to it. 20 pounds is nothing to worry about. Anyways, so we've got top limb, bottom limb, all right? We've got smaller loop and we got a bigger loop. So let's first put this on my foot just so I can put the little tiny bit of pressure. This is how I store my bows when they're assembled. This way there's like nothing for pressure on limbs because you don't want to leave these things strung up. Even though they're laminated, you'll still mess them up over time. Okay, so first we're going to take all that off and we're going to go this way. And one of the ways that you've seen this being done is a step-through method. Now, I'm left-handed, so I can't do it that way. So what I'll do is I'll anchor this down here, keeping the limb off the ground, and then I could do it this way. Unfortunately, I can't pull 40 pounds that way. It's not going to happen. 20-pounders, way too easy. But with 20-pounders, you can do that. You can get away with it. It's not a problem. It's not an issue, okay? Now, I know we've probably seen a few people pull that off with 40-pounders or more. Well, they're taking their chances, and I'm not one for taking that kind of chance. So, the big loop always goes to the top, and you got to shove it down the limb a bit so that you can get this end onto the bottom. And then what I like to do is I like to pinch this together here, holding tension, keeping it back, and then I grab my stringer wherever I stuck it. In this case, it's right here. Now, my type of stringer has this kind of a pocket. Some of them are different, kind of varies, but you put it on so that the short part faces the front of the bow, long part to the back, and then you hook it onto there like that, like so. Now at this point, you can let the tension off, grab the string on this end. Mine's got this rubber block thing on it, okay? And then what I do is I put it in behind the string back here, push that as forward as I can, and then I try and see if I can maybe rotate the string a little bit, just to the edge. Now, you got to pull this from the center of the riser, so spread your feet out, about like this, okay? And you want to pull up from the center, but you also want to make sure that you come down to get as close as you can to the front of the limb, okay? So as I do that, I'm going to pull up. I'm going to make sure that these two ends are in here before I let go. They seem to be okay. And now I can just take the pressure off. Before you do anything, always check. Make sure everything's locked up proper here. Make sure this looks like this at this end. That looks good. And we're in the groove as well. You will find a groove. This end, same thing. Check it. It's in the groove. And you're ready to go. That's it. So when you're going to unstring it, it's going to be a similar process. You're going to take this, put it here, bring your stringer around. If you do have this rubber boot deal like I've got, I would hold on to that boot just as some extra security so it doesn't slide on you. That end came off. Okay, so we're on there and we're about here is where I want it. Again, pulling up from around the center of the bow. Now, as you release this, this wants to slide. So at this point, I know I've got it over here. So I start moving this back a little bit, letting tension right off. Take that off, comes off. Now I can unhook this at this end, this at this end, loop it over here, onto the top of my shoe only, not to the ground, and I can just hang it back on my wall at that point. And I'm done. That's it. That's all there is to it. Like I said, this is the style of stringer I have. It just has a limb pocket and the rubber boot. Took me a little bit of getting used to when I first started using the stringer, because it's like, I've seen some people that's like, they don't even hold that boot in place. It's like, I think I'm going to hold it in place, right? And I found out that, yeah, you probably should hold it in place. And then as you start pulling, then you don't have to hold it, because you're going to have to concentrate on fishing your string up to the limb tip. So, but if you see videos where guys are, you know, on the corner, and I don't care if they're on the ground or not, you can break your tip, right? That's a big problem, right? If you're trying to do that step through sort of deal, you've got more than, say, 20, 25 pound limbs, it's going to be very difficult to bend. You could twist a limb doing that too, which is another thing. On a 20 pound set of limbs, like I said, I don't have an issue with it, and I'm not, for me at least, I'm not going to waste my time pulling out my stringer to string up 20 pound limbs. But I also have some height against me, or for me as well. I'm 5'9", so, you know, for me, it's not that big of a deal to reach over type of thing to do that. And it's so easy to compress 20 pound limbs in. 40 pounds, they're a lot harder. So unless you have the ability, the right pitch angle to deal with 40 pounders, probably would advise not doing it, because you're likely going to slip and you could hurt your limb tips. So kind of, it's one of those things of, if you're that concerned about it, even with 20 pound limbs, just use your stringer. It's the safest and best method anyways to do. I'm just letting you know what I do, because I do have 2 sets of limbs for that thing, although I am no longer using the 20s because they're just not a challenge anymore. Okay, so I'm just sticking with the 40s on there now. Besides, I can draw back the 40 without a problem. So 20 pound limbs are going to be probably a short-lived experience for a lot of people, especially adults, because we're going to start at 20 pounds to build up those muscles in here. Once it's way too easy, we're just going to switch up to heavier limbs, or maybe buy a new bow, depending on the bow you bought, if it supports different limbs or not. Mine, you can get the extra limbs. I think they go right up to about 50 or 60 pounds you can get from PSE. But they start at 20. These bows, brand new in Canada, they're like $219 and change on Amazon. They're fantastic bows. So, but anyways, that is today's video. I thought I would go through that. I know there's a million videos, but it never hurts to have another viewpoint as well at the same time. But I have seen a lot of wrong videos on how to string up recurve bows, and would be the same for a longbow. Longbow, actually, I don't even think a longbow you could actually get away with the step through. I don't know. I haven't tried that sort of idea, but I've got recurves right now, so that's what I'm working with. That's what I've got. I've had recurves for years. Mind you, they weren't, you know, what I would consider a real bow. They're more the kid style, you know, 20, 25 pound Indian bows is what they call them. They're all fiberglass. You know, they're virtually indestructible, but you still don't step on them. I always did the step through, and that was something I actually taught myself, because I had to figure it out on my own, because we didn't have the internet. We didn't have YouTube back in that time period. So it's like, you got to teach yourself some stuff, right? So, and I wasn't about to go to the library just to read a book. Anyways, there you go. That's what we got. That's what you get. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And we'll be sure to catch you on the next one. See ya.